Go somewhere else. I can't take this nonsense anymore. How are you going to blame the defense?
I got the power. Screw Green Bean. Damn it.
But once you get to the sausage, I feel like we're doing something.
Go Jets.
And that's the other part of it, is the people are insanely jealous of this show. This show gets the best of the best, and it does a different way, with positivity.
He scores!
Ow, my head. No, come on.
What would you give up to see a Jets Super Bowl?
All of my friends and family.
Hit those milk thumbs, boys and girls.
Freeze frame.
Hold on to your underwear, ladies, and stand by, bitches. It's now time for Talkin' Jets with your hosts, Matt, Ryan, and Green Bean.
Welcome to Talkin' Jets. My name's Ryan, and I'll be your pilot tonight. Boys and girls, I am all sorts of excited to talk to you in the chat. I've got my co-pilots. I've got Mr. Which way? Green Bean to my this way. I got Mr. Matt O'Leary to my that way. Boys and girls, how you doing tonight? Green Bean, I'll toss it to you first.
Oh, man, I'm excited. We have such cool stuff to discuss tonight. I'm bubbled over with elation for, like, the juices are flowing for the offseason for real now. I'm looking forward to where we take it tonight.
O'Leary, how you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm doing so good. We got an all-time video from Jeremy today that I'm excited to get into. We got a major announcement today. It's vibes are sky high. I don't know if I could be better right now.
Boys and girls, if you're just coming in here, make sure you hit those milk thumbs.
Milk thumbs.
Gotta have it, boys and girls. Hit those milk thumbs. Love seeing you guys in here. We got Samantha Bennett joining the OnlyFans. I like it. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. A little Mitt Flair saying drop a like on the way in. Come on, don't be shy. Thank you so much, Mitt Flair. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. We got a whole bunch to get into. We got Dom C and Jeremy joining us in a little bit to talk about the Senior Bowl. They're down in Mobile. They got some really great footage today and some really cool insight. If you don't follow those guys on Twitter, make sure you go do that because it's been a lot of fun following them. And you can check the hashtag Talkin' Jets because we have, I guess I shouldn't transition it like that, but we got some big stuff going on. Got some big stuff going on that I'm excited to announce. Let's wait till we get 100 likes. When we get 100 likes, let's announce the fun stuff we got going on. And until then, we'll just kind of discuss some of the trending topics that we were able to go through. Today, we got to see a report from Rich Cimini saying that Taliese Fuaga has been the apple of Joe Douglas's eye. He's all sorts of excited. I've been scouting him for months. He's been all sorts of hyped up on him, which is like, okay, wow, this kind of makes a lot of sense. A lot of us Jet fans have been talking about Fuaga for the last month and a half or so. Very excited. Green Bean, what did you think about Cimini's comments? Do you think they're factual, or do you think this is all a smokescreen?
Oh, man, this is so early in the process that it could actually mean that Joe Douglas loves him, wants people to think it's a smokescreen so he can take him, or so they think he's going to take him, and then he doesn't take him, and he takes Bowers. I have no idea. It's so early. This is the most fun time. The speculation that comes out of all this. The truth is that I hope he does like him. I like him. Does that mean he's going to pick him? If Joe Alt's on the board, I would say probably not. But yeah, let the fun begin, everybody. This is where it gets good.
O'Leary, what did you think of Cimini's comments about Douglas liking Fuaga?
Well, as someone who also likes Fuaga, I was very happy. I'd be very, very pleased if on draft night that's the name that's called, if it's Fuaga. Now, we did last episode 2 weeks ago, we talked about how someone in Daniel Jeremiah had Fuaga coming off the board before Fashanu to the Jets. And I don't know if I would go that far, but if for whatever reason, right, two tackles go, Alton Fashanu somewhere in the top 9, and the Jets decide they want to go with the tackle and it's Fuaga, I love it. He reminds me a lot of AVT. I think he's a mauler in the run game. I think he's a versatile piece, and I would love him if he's a New York Jet.
I am really, really excited to get into all the stuff that they were able to bring up from the Senior Bowl. We were talking to them. Our group chat was popping off the entire day, and it has been so much fun. So much fun to watch all the different things that Jeremy and Dom C are able to kind of like pull up and find for us. I do have, let's see, I had our little, see if I could find it. All right. I'm going to pull up Fuaga's little profile that we had right here. Bam! A little bit of highlights. For those of you guys that don't know who Talisa Fuaga is, he's the right tackle from Oregon State. He has over 1,500 snaps at right tackle. He's purely a right tackle. We didn't get to see him play left tackle at all. Now, we're hoping that maybe Ulbrich tries him a little bit on the left-hand side, see a little bit of action, or they're just going to pencil him in at right-hand tackle and, like, don't change something that ain't broke. Big dude. Violent SOB. Like we said, playing in the Senior Bowl, only 12 career penalties. So the guy doesn't get penalized. Mekhi Becton, for reference, had 22 this past year. So it's kind of
a great reference.
Oh, an alarming stat when you go to this.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, the big boards, 11, 14, 15, 22, and 27. And then obviously you guys could see his Pro Football Focus stuff on the side over there. Green Bean, is there any situation where Matt alluded to it, we saw Fuaga go in front of Fashanu in the Daniel Jeremiah draft? That was something that, obviously Daniel Jeremiah is close with Joe Douglas, so maybe that's a tip of the hand. Joe Douglas loves Fuaga. Daniel Jeremiah hears it. He wants to put him in front of Fashanu. You think Fashanu goes after Fuaga if they're both on the board?
Well, look, there's a lot of stuff, right? This is the time of year. We have the Senior Bowl. We have the Combine. There's all kinds of stuff. We see guys rise and fall dramatically around this time of year. The truth is, this is a quality football player. So I would not be surprised to see him go, before some of the guys that maybe we don't think, he should or that he's going to. But you look at some other drafts. There were the CBS drafts. I think they were there. There were two that came out this week. Fuaga, in one of them, he was like the 30th pick. So, it's all about, I think they have so many mocks that they're going to all put out, right? They have so much time left that we're going to see things all over the spectrum. How boring would it be if you saw the first 15, 20 picks the same every mock by every guy? It's just not going to happen. Now, would I be surprised as it stands now? Like, let's say a Fashanu or an Alt were on the board. I would be surprised if they went with Fuaga over those guys at this current moment. But who knows, man? Maybe Joe Alt, he runs a 6.9 40, and everybody goes, "Ooh, oh my God, we don't like him anymore." And he drops to the third round, and Fuaga, does amazing things in the drills. I mean, anything can happen, but I think, when it all clears, I think Fuaga is going to be maybe the 4th, 5th tackle taken. But if we ended up with him, I wouldn't be disappointed. I think he's a good football player. Anybody who gets him is getting a good player.
O'Leary, you think Fuaga over Fashanu, or you kind of lean in the left tackle?
No, I would take the left tackle, and that's the key piece, right? Is Fashanu's a left tackle, and that he's a better pass protector, which I think is more important in today's game. Like, as much as I love Fuaga, he's my 3rd favorite tackle in this draft. I think he's close to Fashanu, closer than some people might have him, but not to the point where I would take Fuaga over Fashanu. I think the Jets have a specific need on the left side, and I think they have a need with, needing pass protection for Aaron Rodgers.
So Brian drops in with an interesting dynamic. He says, trade Bryce Huff and a 4th to the Chargers for a round 1 pick swap and grab Alt if he's there at number 5. Now, I love the idea of trading up with the Chargers to come up for an offensive lineman. I'll be honest, I don't want to give up a 4th round pick. I think Bryce Huff is enough to give them that we should be able to slide up those 5 picks. I don't think we need to give up more than that unless you really don't think we're getting like anything for Huff anywhere else. Matt, what do you think about this trade? Huff and a 4th to the Chargers.
Yeah, I don't think you would need to throw in that extra 4th round pick. Just because like the difference in we'll do the old draft tech value chart, right? Everyone's favorite. Chargers 1,700 points with the 5 pick, Jets 1,300. So you need to make up 400 worth of points, which is about a 2nd round pick. So if that's what you think Bryce Huff could be traded for, that should be enough to make up that gap. I don't know if it's going to be all that likely that the Jets tag Bryce Huff and end up trading him. It feels like he's either gonna leave for nothing or surprise extension, but I think I would end up being surprised if it was a tag and trade option for Huff.
Yeah, I agree. Tag and trade seems to be a little far-fetched given the logistics that go into it. Green Bean, would you trade, if we could make it work out, Huff and a 4th to the Chargers for a round 1 pick swap?
I'll tell you what, I would be very annoying to a lot of people if that happened, because I would not be capable of shutting up about why we wanted to lose out, because now we got to trade Huff just to get to where we'd be. I'd be doing all that stuff. So let's just hope, we don't have to see something like that. Now, would I do it if I knew Huff's gone and the whole thing? And, yeah, if that's what you got to do, you get some value. I do agree that throwing in a 4th would be unnecessary. So I don't know, man. I still think we're going to get something for Huff. I hear what you guys are saying. I think that the tag is merely a placeholder to just make sure that he doesn't go anywhere. We see it all the time with tag and trades. Contracts get renegotiated. Maybe it's too risky. Somebody doesn't want them. I don't think it does anything. You can tag and trade. You can release the tag, and they can negotiate a contract. So I'm not too worried about it. I think if the Jets get nothing for Bryce Huff, I'm going to be disappointed. If this is all we get, I would still be slightly disappointed. At the end of the day, I would love to come away in the draft with Joe Alt, like Brian's saying. So whatever you got to do to fix that damn O-line, especially if you're using a player that you feel like there's no chance of keeping, then, hey, at the end of the day, that's going to be a net positive, in my opinion.
I'm kind of hoping we use the transition tag on Huff. Like, hit him with the $21 million option. It's a little bit cheaper, and then we get the right of first refusal for someone else's contract. Like, if someone signs him to a $100 million deal, then I think Joe Douglas can say, like, hey, look, we can't match that. And I think fans are like, you know what? You tried. You did what you tried to do. If someone signs him for a 3-year, $45 million deal, Joe Douglas says, let's do it. Maybe we trade JFM or something along those lines. I think there's some options there. The franchise tag makes it a little difficult, and the numbers are just tough given everything that we've kind of committed to this defensive line right now. Boys and girls, we got 226 people in here. We only have 72 likes. When we hit 100 likes, we're going to drop some big news for you guys. We're really excited about it. Jason pops in with his member super chat. Thank you so much, Jason. He says, although we will focus on offense heavily in this draft, what defensive position will we draft first in April? Defensive position. Cornerback is definitely going to be a need. Because DJ Reed is a free agent after next year. Michael Carter II is a free agent after next year. We're losing Bryce Hall this year. Eccles, I believe, is a free agent next year as well. So you only have Sauce Gardner under contract. I think corner is going to be a sneaky position of need for the New York Jets, pending what happens in free agency. Matt, I'll throw it to you. What do you think? Defensive position of need.
I think they'll do their patented draft a corner that they plan on converting to a safety. That's one of their classic moves. They did it with Jason Pinnock. They did it with Jarek Bernard-Converse. There was, forgive me, I'm forgetting, the Nebraska corner that was at the Shrine Bowl, who was playing some safety, had a really nice play. But forgive me, I'm blanking on his name. Dom C, where are you? I need you right now. That feels like something that would come into play. Now, I don't know if that would be first off the board. I would say it's probably between like safety or defensive tackle would be my guess.
Green Bean, what about you? First defensive position that we address in the draft?
Yeah, I think the cornerback thing could be taken care of by extending DJ Reed, and we all be like, oh, There it is. There it is. I think that's the way to do it. I agree though. It's one of those things where, this team has spent some time looking forward. Last year I think they did it. I love long-term planning. I think last year was probably not the year to go that route. But they did it. But I think that the Jets will take care of cornerback, before, without having to use a draft pick. I agree with Matt. I think safety is probably going to be an area that we see them go. I know that we like to say that Joe Douglas doesn't prioritize the safety position, but he did use a third in his first draft on Ashton Davis. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them use one of their picks. Again, the problem I have with any plans that aren't offensive line and wide receiver is that we don't have a second, right? So you can't play games. Like you just can't. Now, and then what kind of a safety are you getting in the fourth, fifth round? Can he be an instant contributor? I don't know, but I think they're going to want to go safety. And I think, interior defensive line is a nice position to want to use your fifth on. It's a really nice position for when you're looking for a space eater. You can find some real good run stuff in DTs in the mid to late rounds. So I think that's a safe bet to think that we'll see one of those brought in back there. Those would be the two. I think we're pretty strong everywhere else. I know we had that clip of me yelling about linebackers last week. I maintain I don't want to see the Jets use a draft pick on a linebacker this year. Not this year, man. We have things to fix. I would be disappointed if we took a linebacker with a defensive tackle hole and a safety need. Probably, right? I mean, maybe they just re-signed Jordan Whitehead. We got Ashton Davis and Tony Adams. Maybe we feel like we're good. I don't think Jordan Whitehead's going to be here, so I think safety is going to be a need. But I struggle to see any other defensive picks this year. They gotta bolster the offense.
What if we trade DJ Reed for a second-round pick? We had that discussion last week too. If we don't end up extending him, dude, I'm like nervous that they're gonna do something like knee-jerk. I don't think Reed's going anywhere because Douglas and Saleh don't have any need to trade him. I don't think. As far as if you were to get a second-round pick, is that second-round pick immediately helping you the way DJ Reed is currently helping you right now? I don't think so. I would be disappointed if we wind up moving on from him.
I would.
Euphoria comes in. We're only 3 likes away, by the way. Is making sure you hit that like button. Let's get over 100 likes. Euphoria comes in, says, am I the only one to trade to get back into the first or second round? So I'm open to the idea of trading either direction. Whether I'm a little less open to moving up in the first round. You can convince me with Joe Alt, and it kind of depends what you have to give up. But I would prefer to trade down in the first. I like that option a lot. It's not necessarily number one overall on my list. I like if there's a tackle you like, perfect. I think there's a lot of tackles in this draft that I do really like. So if they feel they're great on Fuaga, Mims, Latham, Morgan, Patrick Paul, all those guys are within a stone's throw of one another, then I'd be cool at moving back and picking up a second. And on the other side of things, I'm cool with coming up from the third round, package one of our fourths or something. Let's get into the back end of the second round. Let's get some weapons. Let's get the top end players here. We were talking earlier in our group chat. Tigo brought it up. I think it was Tigo. The disproportionate, or there's issues with the NIL contracts with the guys rounds 5 through 7. Those day 3 players are tending to go back to school. So you're going to see maybe a lower caliber of player on that back end of the draft that you may not have otherwise seen. So I'm cool with using some later round picks to come up to get guys that can contribute this year. Green Bean, your thoughts on trading back in the first or second round, getting back into it?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's one of those things that you really want to try to see if you can pull together, right? Now, the whole Bryce Huff thing, let's just be clear. I mean, at least for me, I would love to see Bryce Huff retained long-term. I would love that. So just to make sure, when we talk about trading Huff, it's not like, let's get rid of this guy. It's not necessarily coming from that mindset. But I was told a few weeks ago that the Jets do believe that they can get a second round pick for Bryce Huff. Now, whether or not that's solid or whatever, the source that I got it from has been pretty damn good so far. Even so much as saying they preferred Tippmann. They like Tippmann a lot more than people thought, and that they would take him if he's on the board. I said not. I said that's great. That's fine if they like him, but not if Michael Schmidt's on the board. And they did it. So that's an interesting thing. And there's a few more of those. So he was telling me that that he thinks that's the case. So now, like you said, Ryan, like trading back. If, like, let's say we're at 10, Fashanu's gone, Alt's gone, Odunze's gone, obviously Marvin Harrison's gone, Neighbors is gone, and you're kind of in that little no man's land, and you can, jump back a few spots and regain a second round pick and still kind of have a good shot, shot to get one of maybe the two tackles that you have rated the same on the board, then I think they would try to do that, and that would be a good way to do it. But I still think, I'm going to tell you, man, I am going to stay on this thing until it's either, it's decided that it doesn't or does happen. I think Bryce Huff's getting traded for a second round pick. That's the way I think it's going to fall. But yeah, I think just like Euphoria is saying, getting that second is pivotal. Getting back into the first, how we going to, so, I mean, if you did Huff in our third, you can get back with then it's like we got two firsts and then we got nothing until the fourth. I don't know. I'd rather have the first, the second, the third, and the fourth than two firsts and nothing until the fourth. I think, right? Do you agree? I think that's the way I'd prefer it.
You're saying trade, like keep a first, keep a second, if you can get a second.
Yeah, like simply like I think I would prefer to trade Huff for a second straight up rather than trade Huff and our third to move into the first. Depending on where it was.
Gotcha.
Before, if you're getting a top 15 pick or something ridiculous, you get a great deal. But I think I'd prefer to get the second.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Matt, what about you? Are you open to moving up, moving down in the draft?
I would say I'm open to it. It depends on what happens in front of where the Jets are. I think I would take one of the three tackles if they're there, or Bowers if they're there. But if there's a weird scenario where those four guys go off the board before the Jets are picking at 10, then at that point I'm saying, all right, I think you're probably moving back. And then you can grab whichever tackle you like. Although you might not have to go back crazy far, too, because there's a bunch of teams right after the Jets that could be jockeying for position for quarterbacks. So, are we on the same page?
Yeah. You are on the same page as me. I was just about to bring that up. So right behind the New York Jets, you got Minnesota, Denver, and Vegas. They're all fighting for a quarterback, potentially. Do you know that there's a few people that may wind up getting shifted and traded, maybe not so much draft picks? Las Vegas has a wide receiver that we really want. We tried to get him. Maybe he comes over to New York in a trade down scenario where you get your number 2 weapon in Devontae Adams. You fall back to Vegas's pick, and then you get, you draft your tackle at number 13. Or maybe Denver wants to come up and make sure that the Raiders don't leapfrog them. And we get Cortland Sutton in the trade down, and now you get your right tackle at number 12. Minnesota, it's only one pick, but maybe it's a pick flip-flop. I don't know. They don't really have a wide receiver that I'm necessarily looking for. But staying within that, 3-4 pick area, I think you're still guaranteed one of those top, maybe 2 right tackles that are still there. I think Denver could go offensive tackle depending on what happens with Garrett Bowles, their left tackle right now. He's a $16 million cap savings, so he may shake free. I would be open to trading for him, too. He's actually pretty rock solid the last 3 years or so. But we got a lot of options. A lot of options that could potentially come to fruition this April. All right. So we said we'd show you guys something that we're super excited about once we hit 100 likes. We got 284 people in here right now. Make sure you hit that like button right now. We are over the 100 likes, so we're going to show you this anyway. We've been talking about it. We did a little bit of a poll question last week, but we're super excited. This year, we are doing our first in-person Talkin' Jets draft party. We are so pumped. We just signed the contract. We're stoked. We're going to do it down at the main event in Farmingdale on Long Island. Matt and I took a trip out there, scouted out the area. Seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. We got some cool stuff planned. 3-hour open bar, buffet. We got the room from, I think it's 7 to 12. I put it 7 to 11 on there, but we have the room a little bit longer. But we're super excited for this. If you guys do want to join us for the Talkin' Jets draft party, we're planning to simulcast it from location. So we're going to shoot on location, have everyone there. We're going to have fun. We're going to get to experience the Jets' number 10 pick overall in person, but we'll still push out the live stream. So if you guys want to hang out with us live, if you're not in the area or can't make it out, you'll still be able to hang out with us. Matt, what are your thoughts on the Talkin' Jets draft party? If you want to go get your ticket, talkinjets.com.
I am so thrilled that we are doing this. I say it every single year, but the weekend of the draft is my favorite thing that we do. All 3 days, it's a grind, it's a marathon those 3 days, but adding the in-person element and getting not only all of our reaction, like the three of us, but getting the room of Jet fans reaction as well is going to be unbelievable. Going to be working with a lot of great sponsors and a lot of good connections, doing some raffles and stuff like that. So really interactive experience with the fans and taking in hopefully what's going to be an epic draft with a pick in the top 10. Sign me up.
Yeah, we got some cool stuff lined up. We got Tailgate Joe has hooked us up with some sponsored stuff. So we got some tailgate tickets to give away. I believe he's given us 2 game tickets as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So very stoked about that. We're going to do some jersey giveaways, whole bunch of things. Green Bean, your thoughts on the draft party?
Dude, it's going to be the best thing ever. I look for reasons to get to hang out with you guys and Jets fans and these types of, we do it once a year and it's always the best, you know what I mean? So this is going to be amazing. And we get to it's going to be everybody there. We get to be a part of the live stream. We're going to have crowd cams and stuff like that. So when we get the reaction, hopefully, it would be really cool if a guy that we all like slides to us and we're all psyched and we get to be happy together instead of half of us mad and the other half. But either way, it's going to be so cool to be able to be together, even though it's been the best having this connection with each other for the last 4 years. It's been 4 years or 3? 4 years, right?
We've been doing it for 5 years, dude.
This will be 5, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so the last
this might be 6th. The Becton one was our first one, so it was
that's 2020. Yeah, so 5 years. Yeah, this is our 5th. Right.
Math
so
is hard.
I'm telling, especially for me, you're significantly better at it than I am. But yeah, so this has been amazing. Like Matt said, it's my favorite thing. It's my favorite stream that we do all year. It's just the best. Now we're fried at the end of it. Usually around the 5th round, 6th round, we're talking French fries and weird shit, and we get a little loopy, but it's just the best, being able to spend all that time. But having the first round together for that peak of excitement, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm so excited that we were able to put it together. And thanks to you and Matt for going in boots on the ground and looking at some places. Obviously, it's a little more difficult for me to get up there and everything. So I'm just glad. I trust you guys. I think this is going to be the best possible spot. And I can't be looking forward to it enough, man. I really hope a lot of you guys will come and hang out with us. It's going to be amazing.
I saw some comments in there. Is this what I was doing out on Long Island with Matt and Richie on Thursday? And that is a yes. Matt and I took a lap out there, checked out a few spots, and the main event was just absolutely awesome. I know they've done some Jet events in the past, and they were tickled pink to have the Talkin' Jets crew coming out. Going to be exciting out there. I see Crossfire. He's excited. He says, "What's up, guys? Are tickets available to buy now? Is there a cap on how many we can buy? Can I come and finally meet y'all?" Just kidding. I know I can. Of course you can, Crossfire. Tickets are on sale now. We're pumped for it. Members, if you guys did not check the member community tab yesterday, so Crossfire, before you buy any tickets, go over to the member community tab. The members of the channel get a little promo code in there to get a little bit of a discount as a thank you guys for helping us out. We do actually have a VIP package as well, which is kind of there's 4 booths that are going to be in there as well. So if you want to have a sit down booth for 4 people for 4 hours or 5 hours or however long the draft is, that might be appealing as well. Other than that, they've got tables, bar tops, all that good stuff. It's gonna be a really good time. We're looking forward to it.
I was sorry to cut you, Ryan. I was just going to say I saw a couple questions in the chat, and one of them was about the VIP area. So there's, as Ryan said, there's limited booths. So if that's something that you want, like you want a seated area and a booth, you get 4 tickets with it. That's included in the VIP. And everyone gets shirts. We didn't even mention that. Everyone
shirt
is getting a Talkin' Jets draft shirt. First annual. We talked about jersey raffles, all kinds of good stuff. I really can't wait. It's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, the shirt's gonna be fun. We're gonna change the shirt each year too, so it's got the year on it, and each year that you guys want to come out to the draft, and even if you guys can't make it out to the draft party and you just want to have the Talkin' Jets draft shirt because you're hanging out with us on draft day, that's totally cool too. That is available. It's up on the website if you want to take a look at it. That's really, really cool. We have, I'm trying to think what else we were talking about. There was we got the open bar. We got the raffles. Oh, the booths are right adjacent to the broadcast booth. So one thing that's kind of nice about the booth itself, or the booths themselves, is you'll be able to see us right there where we're actually going to be filming.
If you wanted to throw cheese balls and get it in my mouth, theoretically you can from the booth.
Theoretically. We are actually using that part of the sponsorship money. Oh, if you guys want, so let's say you guys have a business and you want to help support the draft party, we have, we're going to be putting logos on the back of the draft shirt for all of the supporters that have donated to help make this possible and everything. So if you guys want to do that, that's over on the website as well, talkinjets.com. We've got someone special behind the scenes, but I want to go through a few more special announcements before we hop over to our special guest. So we are launching 3 new shows on the Talkin' Jets channel. This one coming out on Monday. Myself and Dom C, a little Talkin' Jets draft. Very excited about this. Chopping it up with Dom C. He's down at the Senior Bowl right now. He's also hiding behind the scenes, top secretly. Right now, I'm not supposed to say that until we actually bring him up on screen, but we're super pumped about that. That's going to be an 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock show. And what's nice about that is we go 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock Talkin' Jets draft, then 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock call-in show on my channel, and then Green Bean does his 10 o'clock mock. So we'll have 3 consecutive hours of Jets content for you guys. We're super excited about it. Matt, what are you thinking about with this Talkin' Jets draft show?
I love it because there is literally draft season never ends, especially for guys like Dom C. He is always in on the prospects, and there's always a storyline. Right now, obviously, you have the Senior Bowl, all lead up to the draft, and then once the draft happens, you're breaking down prospects, and then during the season, there's prospects to break down and react to the rookies. I think it's a great addition to the channel. I can't wait to watch this.
Mr. Green Bean, how you feeling about Talkin' Jets draft?
It's been a long time coming that Ryan and Dom C get a show together to talk prospects and stuff. I am legitimately and honestly excited to see that dynamic. I've been doing lots of stuff with Dom for a few years now. And it's you guys are born to be together, in my opinion. I think it's going to be one of the better shows in the Jets YouTube verse, and I'm excited, man. I know Dom's excited. I know you're excited. It's gonna be a good one, man. This is you guys got to watch this one if you want to learn about the prospects and really get some real honest objective takes. This is going to be the show to watch.
Boys and girls, we are all sorts of excited. There is a watch page set up for Talkin' Jets Draft already for episode 1. So if you guys want to go over there and hit a little like button to give us a little preemptive like prior to launching that, we're really looking forward to it. Our second show that's coming out, we got Mr. Green Bean and 𝐒𝐿𝐫𝐞𝐫𝐢 Wednesdays on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock for Armchair GM. Green Bean, tell us a little bit about the show.
I'll tell you what, this is one I'm really excited for. I've had 𝐒𝐿𝐫𝐞𝐫𝐢 on as a guest, I think maybe 2 times over the past however long, but I'm really excited to get to work with 𝐒𝐿𝐫𝐞𝐫𝐿𝐫. We were chatting it up before a little bit. I think it's going to be a good one. What we're going to really try to do each week is kind of, if we were the GM from a general manager perspective, that is, what would be the moves that we would want to make to improve the New York Jets? And I think 𝐒𝐲's the man for the job. I haven't had the opportunity to kind of do a show with 𝐒𝐲, so I'm really excited about it. Yes, we're going to be doing that on Wednesday nights, which is going to be freaking cool, dude. I'm really looking forward to it.
Matt, your thoughts on Armchair GM?
It's everyone's favorite thing to do, right? Everyone thinks they know best on how to fix this team. And every week, I'm sure there's going to be great topics to go over on what the Jets need to do differently in order to get this thing in gear. And I can't think of two better people than Green Bean and 𝐒𝐲 to get this team back on track.
Jimmy Jet says, why does 𝐒𝐲 look like an offensive coordinator? He looks awesome. It's because he's got the new Jets hoodie on. It's the one with the circle and stuff. I like it. It's fresh. Looks good. And then for our third show, we got Mr. Matt O'Leary with a little reality check with Jeremy Jets Chaos. Matt, tell us a little bit about this show. Thursdays, 3 p.m.
Yeah, I am really excited for this one. A little afternoon delight with Matt O'Leary and Jets Chaos. And the reality check is going to be a lot of fun because there's a lot of rumors and storylines going around on the internet each week. So what we're going to do is pick a storyline that's getting talked about online about the Jets and really try to get to the bottom of it and see, where is this coming from? Is it realistic? What would have to happen for that one thing to happen? So, because everyone wants to say, everyone wants to say, oh, go trade for Davante Adams. Well, okay, how can you make that happen? And is it realistic? Yeah. So we'll try to get to the bottom of different things like that. So I'm looking forward to it. Excited to work with my guy, Jeremy.
Green Bean, how you feeling about this particular show?
This one tickles me in a very, very unique way because I don't know if you guys know this, but before we knew Jeremy as Jeremy, he was a regular caller. He was Jeremy from Sacramento, right? On the Just Jets podcast. So when I met Jeremy, he then told me, because I listened to Just Jets. I'm not sure if I've told you guys that before, but I hear almost every single episode that Matt's made. I would say I maybe missed 4 or 5 over the last 200 and change episodes. So when I was talking to Jeremy, he said, "Oh yeah, I call Matt's show." I'm like, "Oh yeah," he's like, "Yeah, I call every week." Like, I'm Jeremy from Sacramento. I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, I knew that guy. Like, like regular callers, they become people we know. Like the people in the chat. It's like, "Oh, I know that guy. Hennessy. Oh, I know Hennessy." Even though we don't know each other, we feel like we do. So I think it's going to be cool. And I like the concept, man, because we can get absolutely nuts in the stuff that we dream up, and it's going to be really cool to have like a grounding show, because I'll tell you, sometimes the stuff people throw at me, I don't even have an answer for. I'm like, dude, do you realize what would have to happen for that miracle to take place? You know what I mean? Like, it's so incredibly out there. So Matt and Jeremy, I think, are going to be a good dynamic. It's fun. And just like the other shows, we haven't seen Matt and Jeremy work together. So it's going to be a really cool thing. It's going to be fun. I think that's going to be, Ryan, I think that's going to be the funny show for some reason. Why do I feel like that?
Because Jeremy's funny looking. Let's be honest. That's
what it is. We're going to call Jeremy Banana Moon Pie. That's his new name. Yeah. Banana Moon Pie.
Our group chat between the 6 of us since the Senior Bowl has gotten underway has been absolutely ridiculous. And with that, let's bring in our boys that are representing us over at the Senior Bowl. We got one, Dom C and Jeremy Jets Chaos and Project Prospect from Dom C. Welcome. I've got Dom C's Twitter page pulled up because he's got some video clips and stuff we get to talk about here. If you guys don't follow Dom C and Jeremy, make sure you head over there. Jeremy, what's your handle? Just because I don't have it pulled up right now.
Just Chaos.
Oof.
You sound like you're talking in a bathroom.
He's in the bathroom, dude. There's no doubt.
Yeah, hang on.
Figure out your video, Jeremy.
And let me,
Dom C,
Ryan, let me just say something real quick, too.
Mute his computer when I talk.
Well, you guys don't have to, they're doing this on purpose. Just show us what you're really doing down there. They're sharing a bed. Just get in the bed and just be real, man. You don't have to pretend for us.
It's okay. I like cuddling.
But it's funny what you're saying because we were actually
Cuddling.
before when we were downloading the videos and of all our interviews and trying to bring it to our phone to the computer, we were respecting the guys from Jet Nation who were in our house using. They were borrowing the space out here to do their show, and we were actually laying in Dom C's bed doing it.
Oh,
That does not sound right. Wait a second.
it's like a high school sleepover. That's adorable.
This is great. You guys have a pillow fight or anything? This is fantastic.
There was no pillow fight, but we were fighting with the computers and the phones. That's for sure.
Oh,
All right, I moved into a different room so I don't hear Jeremy twice on the computer and in echo. So
smart, Mr. Dom C. Now you had some clips. I think I saw in the group chat. Did you wind up? Do you have them posted anywhere yet, or just uploaded to the folder?
All the interviews that we have are in the folder. We have about probably 250 plus video clips of just play today, whether it was positional groups or the 1v1 battles or the 11v11. We just didn't have enough time to get it all together. But you got all the interviews, man. It's been such a day. Such a great day.
We are excited. We're pumped about that. Dom C, we are doing our show on Monday. I can't wait to recap the entire Senior Bowl, go over everything that you guys have seen. Now, Dom C did get us an exclusive interview with Talise Fuaga. That was kind of nice. Pretty interesting. Now, can you give us a little inside scoop on that? I'm going to see if I can get it downloaded on my end over here. But talk to us, both you guys. Give us the rundown. How did you guys get to Mobile? How did it all kind of, what's it been like? I'm FOMO.
I gotta say, it worked out really perfectly how we met up because we're staying in a house with Dylan from Jets Nation, and he actually, the first leg of their flight from New Jersey to Atlanta, they were sitting together, Dom and Dylan. But Dylan then flew into Pensacola, and Dom flew into Mobile, but he had to stay in Atlanta for like 2 hours. So when Dylan got into Pensacola, I waited for him. I got in 35 minutes before him. We got into the car. We drove. Of course, we stopped at Cracker Barrel because it's me, right? So, of course, we had to stop at Cracker Barrel, get something to eat. But when we got to the airport in Mobile, we literally got there right as Dom C came walking out. And we picked him up. And then that was it. We, that's how we got, and we came into the house. And ever since then, it's been just chaos, literally.
I see what you did there, Jeremy.
That was well done.
Dom C, how was your flight?
Did you tell real quick? Didn't I don't know if you mentioned. I might have spaced out for a second, but did you tell who Dylan ended up because of the flight on to Pensacola? Who he ended up hanging out with on the flight?
Oh yeah, no, he was sitting behind and then walking out and chatting with Rex Hogan.
Right?
That's
pretty
wild.
nice. If you guys don't know, I got you. I think we're live.
Oh, gotcha. I just froze up a little bit.
Must be that Wi-Fi over there. And are you guys at an Airbnb or are you guys at a hotel?
Airbnb.
There you go.
Got a nice house. Yeah.
Nice. Cannot complain for sure. All right, let me see. I think I have the clip downloaded. I'm just trying to figure out how to do it without jacking everything else up. While I look for that, let's just rip through a few super chats real quick, do a little catch up. Pooch Guy says, boys, Braylon Allen, my draft crush for this year. He is a 6'2" running back out of Wisconsin, 245 pounds. That is a beast of a human. They're projecting him to go in the 5th round here. Dom, Jeremy, do you guys know anything about Braylon Allen? I know it's kind of later in the draft type player here, but any insight at all?
Yeah, let me tell you something. Braylon Allen has the chance to be the first running back taken in the draft. He's that good of a talent. Big guy, 200 and some odd pounds, used as a bruiser in Wisconsin. Kind of fits that mold of the Wisconsin guys. Reminds me a whole heck of a lot of Melvin Gordon. The way he can just, he just finishes his runs through contact balance, fleet enough in foot. Like, he's not, Devon A-Chain fast, but he's fast enough. He's got another gear. I think he's really, really good. I think it's a chance to be one of the first running backs called in April.
Matt Greenbean, would you guys be open to drafting this type of running back? Now, Dom, when you say he could be one of the first guys drafted at running back, do you think like second round? Do you think like is there running back sneaking into the first?
I don't think there's going to be any running back taken in the first. This class is a little bit lackluster, although we did have some phenomenal showings today in Mobile. But I don't see a running back going first. Probably around late second, early third. I think that's when the first running back will come off the board.
Okay. Now, Matt Greenbean, I'll throw this to you. Would you guys be open to taking a running back? And if so, what round would you be looking at? Matt, I'll throw it to you first.
I'm open to it. I know a lot of people are really tired of the the day 3 dart throw running backs from Joe Douglas, right? They say, oh, well, you did it with Izzy, you did it with little Michael Pirine and stuff like that. But I love that strategy. One of my favorite things is trying to find that day 3 running back, because it feels like every year you find one that's, just ends up being a solid player. So I'm on board with it. Although I think there's a world where the Jets end up paying a vet running back to be their RB2. Not a ton of money, but there's going to be some veteran options on the market and free agency as well.
So I'm going to skip Greenbean's opinion on this because I was able to pull up the interview from one Talise Fuaga. And let me see if I've got it right. I see Dom C's muted right now. Dom C.
Sorry. Before you play it, I want to say this. It's very short because there is a time frame on which the media, if you have media credentials, that you can access the field. They blow a horn and start pushing everyone off. And we were already beyond that time when I grabbed him. But it's really good. There'll be more of interviews with him to come. We're going to grab him again tomorrow.
Oh, I'm excited. Okay, let's see if I set this up correctly and it'll actually do what I need it to do.
Hey, Jets fan, Dom C with Talkin Jets here with right tackle stud Talise Fuaga. Talise, how's it feel to have the pads back on, man?
Feels good. Just trying to knock that rust off again. It's been a while, so yes, sir.
Yeah. Hey, we know the plan around you is dominant in the run game. You're showing up here both ends of it. Your pass sets are good. You have some great reps against Latu as well. What's the one thing you want to show all the stats, all the fans, and all the coaches here that you have improved from the season until now?
Yeah, I just want to show I'm a well-balanced player, not just one side of the ball and one side too aggressive or anything. But yes, sir. Just trying to be able to show everybody I'm not just one side, not just a run blocker. So yes, sir.
And you feel comfortable playing the left, or you think you're just at right tackle?
Right now, probably just right, but I'm trying to get the left reps in too.
Well, listen, Jets, I know are looking at you, and we hope to have you on our team.
Yeah, I appreciate that, boss.
Okay.
All right. Oh, I love the smooth jazz going in and out of that too, by the way, Dom C.
That was a Jeremy Cravat, if I ever heard one right there.
Oh, it's just that was wonderful. That was absolutely incredible to see, because now he squarely knows Talkin Jets is locked in on him, and he's talking about, I don't want to be locked in as just a running, blocking tackle. Right now he sees himself as just a right tackle, but it sounds like he's open to a little bit of maneuvering around. Dom C, is that kind of the vibe you got from that? Like, did you see more? What did you see from him through day one of the Senior Bowl?
Honest to God, I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything. What you saw from Talise Fuaga today on the field was absolute and total dominance. He was one of the 3 offensive linemen that stood out in a crowd well above the others. I mean, he was good but the exception one, he got beat by the defensive end from Adisa from Penn State, pretty good on a spin block. He lost 1 rep, but everything else was just dominant. I mean, they lined, and I think they did it purposely. He lined up against Latu in the one-on-one battles probably 5 times and won every single rep. just an absolute dominant performance from him during the season that he showed on film, and he just carried that over today. Was one of the 2 or 3 linemen that was getting all the buzz from everyone in Mobile. Like if there's anything more that he could have done to boost his draft stock up, he did it today.
I feel like we're not going to actually get to see him play in the legitimate game. I feel like he's going to be one of those players that rocks out the practices, and then he's going to, maybe sit out the game because he's done so much to elevate his draft stock. Jeremy, I guess I'll throw this question to you. Do you think that Fuaga plays in the Senior Bowl, or do you think it's going to be like just the workouts because of the level that they maybe project him going at in the first round?
Yeah, just the way things are going here. Like people had already pulled out because their draft stock was going up. Just for being, before it even happened, we had 5 guys pull out. I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls out before the game. I mean, we can hope, I know a lot of people want to watch him and hopefully he won't, but don't be surprised by it. Nobody should be upset by it. He's going to make the best decision for himself. And it might be the better decision. If he helps his draft stock enough, why should he risk an injury? Why risk anything going wrong?
Greenbean, anything you heard from that interview that piqued your interest or thoughts about Fuaga?
Well, a couple things. First is, Jeremy, you have to correct Dom. He's calling it Mobile, and I think it's proper is mobile. I think that's important for Dom to know. But Dom, dude, you see how comfy Dom was? He was hitting him in the chest. He was smacking him. I mean, what did you guys have lunch before? You guys were shitting it up. That's a high level of comfort right there. I don't know if I would have did that. So that's really cool. Yeah, I mean, and it's funny that woman, remember, I remember that, like the woman coming, the people, all right, come on. Like, sometimes you get that. You only get a certain amount of time for the interviews. So I think Dom did a great job, kind of getting it in before they were shooing everybody off the field. But yeah, man, I mean, look, he wants to show, because that's one of the knocks on him, right? Is that he's sort of on the one-dimensional side, very, very strong run blocker, animal, but the pass blocking is I don't want to say suspect, but it's not the stronger part of his game. So him going out there knowing that and wanting to show that, I think that's what this stuff is for, And a lot of times, like was said, like he might not play the game. You go out there, you do those one-on-one reps, you do the best that you can in all the drills and the 11-on-11s and all that kind of stuff, and you try to show, you try to make your mark, and you try to get your name talked about, and then as soon as that happens, you get your stock as high as it can be, and you move on to the next thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if he'd ended up not playing in the game as well, because then there's the whole risk of injury and stuff. I'm always nervous for these guys in games like this and scenarios like this. It's just the worst. We've seen it, a few times. Even things like pro days and you don't see too many injuries in the combine, but pro days and stuff. It's such a shame when these guys get injured at this phase of it all. So I totally respect when guys want to bow out, but yeah, I think it's a great interview. I love the Jets angle on the interview. Like, we are looking at you. I appreciate that. I like getting, the line of questioning about, it's not just, across the board, it's Jets specific. And I think Dom does a great job with that.
So I want to acknowledge Blitz Crew coming in, dropping 5 Talking Jets OnlyFans memberships. We love you, Blitz Crew. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And what's interesting is those 5 people, Wildwave, Mitflare, Hennessy, Jordan, Zebo, if you guys are looking to go to the Talkin' Jets draft party, you do have that gifted membership. You could head over to the community tab. Members got a discount code for the Talkin' Jets draft party at the main event Monday, the first day of the draft. First round, we're excited for it. Open bar, all that good stuff. But you guys get a little discount for supporting the channel. Blitz Crew, thank you so much for helping us out. Let's go through a few comment questions. We've got Tigo dropping in. What's up, Tigo? I see you in the chat. He says the draft starts in Mobile. Mobile?
It's the truth.
Is that that's a proper way of saying it, or am I saying mobile?
No, Mobile. I was making fun of Jeremy.
Mobile. Excited to see these kids and really happy that 𝐒𝐵RIC gets up close view of these kids, who they are. Go Jets. Jeremy got an up close and personal view of Mr. 𝐒𝐵RIC. Jeremy, you want to tell us about your little interview? Dom C, did you retweet that video by chance?
I did.
All right, I'm gonna try and find it. It's hopefully not. There it is. Let's see if we can get the volume going on here.
And go.
Yeah.
Go to you guys.
You say hello to all the Jet fans?
Jet fans, let's go, man. Everybody watch the Senior Bowl and figure out who you want on the Jets.
Okay, good luck, Coach. We love you.
Thank you.
The we love you part is just so great. It's so great. I mean, you could tell he's like kind of thrown off. He's like, this grown man just told me he loves me. Jeremy, what was your interaction like with Jeff 𝐒𝐵RIC?
I have to be honest. I was in complete shock that he turned when I said, say hello to all the Jet fans, that he actually turned around and started talking. It took me so off guard. I had no idea that was going to happen. That's why that came out that way. It was just me. I'm a lovey-dovey. I love everybody kind of guy. So that was just like, really, I think I was saying, I love you for actually talking to me. Because this is going to be great. This is going to be so awesome when everybody sees this. But the best part was when Dom C told me afterwards. That was when he told me. I had no idea that Green Bean the night before, last night, had actually predicted that would happen.
Yeah. I'm putting my text message to Dom C in the comments right now. You guys can all see it. That's what I told Dom C the night before.
He says,
dude, we gotta
have Jeremy steamroll his way into an area where he or JD is. He's shameless and has no issue doing shit like that. LOL.
Sick Jeremy on him, man. And he did it.
Oh, it's so
Green
good.
Bean. Actually, before I get Green Bean's thoughts, I want to hear Dom C. Like, was this every bit as magical as the moment seems to be on camera?
I'm telling you, like I'm red right now. We got really sunburned. It's hot. It was 67 degrees, sun blaring today, and I must have turned like tomato red because all I kept saying to Jeremy is, Jeremy, don't get us kicked out. Don't get us kicked out of this place today. That's all I kept saying to Jeremy. Don't get us kicked out because he'll see somebody, he'll just walk right up to him, grab him. Connor Hughes is on like what's it called? Like a voice chat. I'm probably in work. Jeremy just struts right over to him, taps him on the shoulder. Like there's no couth in it. So we're standing we're on the field and he starts calling over to Coach Brick. And I said to myself, oh God, I said, we're done. I'm out of here. And he was great, man. He was great. He shook our hands. He was happy that, Jets fans were represented in Mobile.
That is awesome. Now, Green Bean, your thoughts on this 𝐒𝐵RIC interaction? This just speaks to who Jeremy is.
Yeah, it does. And I'm kind of with Dom too. Like I sometimes to a fault, I'm like I'm like hyper aware of the rules, like in environments like this. I don't want to overstep. I want to be respectful. And it's not to say I'm right in doing that because I miss some of these moments. A lot of the time I don't capture. Jeremy, on the other hand, like Dom said, he just walks right up. He doesn't have that same, not that he's disrespectful, but he doesn't have that same fear, if you will. We'll call it a fear.
There's no filter.
So yeah. No, yeah, right. So, but look at the moment that he got. He told Jets fans, keep an eye on these guys. And so you tell us who you want. You know what I mean? Like, who do we want on the Jets? Like, again, it's specific. That's the beauty of these guys being down there. Like, it's great to have guys down there and get that, that in-person take and everything of who's playing what and who's doing what, how the drills are going. That's all really, really great stuff. But this is unique because we get that Jets perspective. Who else is going up to Jeff 𝐒𝐵RIC and kind of, relating to him, connecting with him on that fan basis? There's only a few people there that are going to do that. And one of them happens to be on the show right now. So I'm grateful for Jeremy's, really disconnect with rules and etiquette. I think that's such a beautiful thing about Jeremy. and I think it's good. I'm great. That's one of the greatest moments, man. Like, we have that forever now. You know what I mean? We have that. Thanks to Jeremy.
Thank you, Jeremy. O'Leary, how are you feeling about this moment here?
I can't stop watching it. I mean that like genuinely. I've watched it gotta be 20 times between when it was originally sent, put on Twitter. I rewatched the 𝐒𝐿𝐫𝐞𝐽 show where Jeremy was on earlier today, and we got the Gator remix. This was just the perfect clip. But what my favorite thing is, it's genuine. Like, Jeremy, that's Jeremy. He's gonna tell you, and he's gonna be, so open. He's like, we love you. He couldn't help himself. That's just what he wants to say to our guy Jeff Ulbrich. But we got an all-time video out of it. That needs to live forever, because that brought me so much joy today.
Immortalized. We might have to make a shirt. I love you. Go back, make something like that.
A picture.
Thanks, Coach Ulbrich. I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
That's all I ever wanted, was to be part of a shirt.
There you go.
Hennessy drops in, says, forget drafting best available player. We need offensive tackle. So I guess let's go around the panel. I want to get your thoughts real quick. Offensive tackle or best player available? Matt, I'll throw it to you first. Let's keep it short, and then we'll hop on to the next super chat. We got a few that we got to burn through here.
Ooh, I'll say offensive tackle, but I think there's a chance that the best player on the board at the time could even be a tackle. So could be both.
Ooh. Green Bean, best player available or offensive tackle?
Offensive tackle all day, unless, the number 2 receivers there and the 2 tackles that you have rated that high are gone. Because we need a wide receiver too. So I could see that, but I think that you'd have to reach deep for me to not take a tackle at 10.
Dom C, tackle or best player available?
Well, I'm hopping right along the Matt O'Leary train. Offensive tackle and best available might be one and the same at this point. And plus, I love the top end of this tackle group, so I'm going to stay offensive tackle for sure.
Jeremy, what about you? Best player available or offensive tackle? Good conversation, Jeremy. It seems like he's either frozen or muted himself. I think he's frozen. There he goes. All right. Talk.
I think oh, you can hear me now?
I got you.
I'm going to say that, granted, depending on if nothing amazing happens in the offseason. So, like, if something happens in the offseason where we, pull something, Joe shocks us all and helps solve the tackle issue, we have to take a tackle. I don't see the point in having other weapons if we can't block for the quarterback. It just doesn't work. Yeah, it starts at the offensive line. It's just the reality.
Yeah, I'm 100% on offensive line here. There's a lot of offensive linemen I like, so I agree with Matt and Dom. It could wind up being the number 1 player on our board anyway. It could be best player available is an offensive tackle. I would even go so far as to say I'm good with trading down and still drafting an offensive tackle. Like Dom alluded to, there are a lot of really good tackles in this class, and I don't think you have to pencil in only Fuaga at number 10. I think you can take a look at a few different potential options. If you can get some value, maybe get a second-round pick by trading back a little bit. I think there's a few other options that we could also look at as well. Boogie Down Bronx, thank you so much for the super chat, dude. Says, do you guys feel that any of these top left tackles in the draft can come in and dominate right away? Protect Rodgers' blindside. I think we go the veteran route for this season. Get left tackle in the 3rd. So this is a very interesting conversation because the offensive linemen that come in the draft generally don't hit the ground running week 1. Now, you're hoping an offensive tackle drafted in the top 10 could do that, but there's definitely an argument to be made where maybe a veteran offensive lineman is the route. I know someone inside the organization that is really high on Carter Warren, so if that's the case, maybe they decide to go with a Tyron Smith or a Bakhtiari or something along those lines. The Jets did try to get Bakhtiari with Rodgers in a package deal last offseason. They just couldn't do it because Bakhtiari was set to protect Jordan Love. They obviously wanted to see what they had in him over in Green Bay. So if Bakhtiari comes into the fold, then maybe they have their developmental left tackle in Carter Warren, and then you still wind up in this situation of, okay, we're comfortable with maybe an AVT going to right tackle, or we can draft our right tackle at number 10, or maybe because the offensive weapons side of things in free agency, if Evans gets tagged, T. Higgins gets tagged, Pittman gets tagged, Ridley chooses to go somewhere else, maybe there's a situation where the Jets just kind of have to get a top playmaker at the top end of this draft. And if an Odunze is there, I would 110% sign off on that particular type of move. There's a few different ways you can go about it. And I guess I'll throw it to Matt first. What are your thoughts on going with an offensive weapon with this mindset because of the offensive tackles maybe not being ready to play right away with Aaron Rodgers when you're going all in a single year?
Yeah, I think I have to feel pretty comfortable about what the Jets do in free agency or trade at that point for the offensive line, right? Like, I keep saying, I feel like every week I say this and it's the truth, but, you know, unfortunately we have to keep saying it, is I think we'll have a better idea after the first few days of free agency what the Jets either are going to do or can do. If the Jets have a spot where they still need to fill a tackle and they're picking at, 10, then it seems like obvious that they're going to take one of these guys. But if they sign, somebody in free agency and maybe they talk about, all off season, how they're, going to stick AVT at right tackle and they sign another, veteran to play guard, then that opens up the conversation for a Brock Bowers or wide receiver even more. I think I would just feel a little uneasy on draft night if we have no idea who the left tackle is going to be and they end up taking a weapon with pick 10.
Greenbean, I want to hear from you. What do you think about possibly going weapon at number 10 because the offensive lineman may not be ready right off the bat?
Yeah, I think, we heard about that last year with the center position, right? That Rodgers didn't want a rookie, up front. I don't know. I mean, Joe Tippmann was a second-round pick. I think if you get a premium tackle, like if you look at some of these mocks that are recently, we had one mock. I forget who it was. One of the CBS guys, Joe Alt was on the board, and he made it to 14, and we didn't take him anyway. We don't need old Joe Alt. He's not good. So who knows? I mean, weird stuff happens in the draft. Guys that you never think are going to slide. It happens every single year. We saw it with Jermaine Johnson's a great example. If the Jets would have taken Jermaine Johnson at 4 or 10, I think the majority of Jets fans would have been fine with that. We ended up getting him at 26. I don't think too many people saw him sliding that far. I saw some people saying he was, top 15, top 20-ish. But I don't think too many people realistically saw him being there at 26. So Joe Alt being there at 10 or Fasciano being there at 10, much weirder things have happened. But so I don't know. I think if you're able to get one of those types of, that caliber of player, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to have too much issue with them starting over there. They'll get the preseason too. If they look like hot garbage, then maybe we got to do something else. My hope is that even if we're planning to take one of these guys, that we still bring in some actual legitimate depth at the tackle position that could start for us. So, but that all said, I think that if you're getting one of these tackles, yes, you fully expect them to come in and start. And the thing is, Boogie Down Bronx, is that the tackle free agent market is thin. It's thin now, and I wouldn't be surprised to see some of the guys that we're thinking that are going to be out there get either re-signed by their teams or what have you. So we're going to see some difficulty with being able to get that sure thing in free agency that we're comfortable with, kind of just assuming is going to be our starter. So I think that rookie is probably going to be the best route to go. And if it's a top 10 guy, if it's a Joe Alt or Fasciano in particular, I don't think there's any concern with them coming in immediately and having the impact that we want.
We got Hennessy coming in and says, do you guys think a trade down could be in the works? We need more quarterbacks to get hyped up. Maybe someone could trade up for Bo Nix or JJ from 10 to 14. I think Penix is the most likely quarterback to go at number 10. Short of Jaden Daniels falling or sliding down, I don't think Williams or May wind up shifting a little bit. Dom, I'm going to throw this one over to you. Do you think a trade down could be in the works? And do you think that other quarterbacks could come into the conversation that could go in front of us to help push some talent down?
Listen, I think in our when we put on our Jets fandom goggles, we all want to trade back a little bit, not too much, just enough to get that second round pick back, so on and so forth. But the reality is that Joe Douglas has yet in his tenure to trade back in the first round. He's traded up. He's been aggressive. So I think us wanting the trade back is probably more realistic than the trade back itself is happening. Listen, it comes down to it. I mean, it's really simple. The Jets scouting department and Joe Douglas are going to have their board, right? And if they have 3 or 4 guys in that same tier who they're happy with, then they're going to trade down. If one of those guys is in kind of at a different level, different tier, they're going to stick and pick. I think with all the pressure on this regime right here, right now, as much as I would love to say, yeah, I think a trade back's, probably in the cards. My guess is right now, my gut tells me that they're going to stay at 10 and pluck the best offensive lineman that they have rated at that point. Whether it's somebody like an Olufushanu falls, or whether it's Talise Fuaga or whomever these other guys that they like. I think that's probably the route they're going to take. I know it doesn't make a lot of Jets fans happy. I want to trade down, still get Fuaga, at 16 and gain a second and maybe a second next year or all that fun stuff. But that's not that's just not always the case. So I'd have to say that we probably stick in at 10. Right? That's what my gut says.
Jeremy, you think a trade down could be in the works?
I think it's definitely possible. I mean, like John was saying, and like we observed today, there's a lot of great tackles in there right now. I don't even think we really talked about Guyton. As he was amazing today as well. He may have been the best offensive tackle we saw today. So there's a lot to be excited about when it comes to offensive tackle, and I think it's definitely a possibility we trade down. I mean, I don't want to gamble. It depends on how many guys went before. Who went already, and it has to do with Jay-Z's board and all that good stuff, obviously. But if we were to still secure one of those guys, even Latham, Guyton, any of those guys, and secure a second-round pick as well, I'd be really happy.
Euphoria comes in with a super chat, says, we can't trade players. We already are low on depth. We need to trade these picks. Come on, JD. This is your last shot. They got the crosshairs on you. Yeah, look, I am very much in the mindset of I would rather proven players. I've been saying I really like Courtland Sutton as a trade option. I would really love to bring him in as a big-bodied wide receiver that has to play for us if you trade for him. I think there are going to be some realistic things that go down with wide receivers saying, well, I don't know if I really want to go to a 40-year-old Rodgers when there's all these young quarterbacks that I could be playing with if I'm going to settle myself down somewhere. I think the Jets are going to have a little bit of hurdles. I think the state income tax is going to be a little bit of an issue. And I think if you are going to make trades rather than for picks, I would rather it be for proven players. Green Bean, I'll throw this one over to you. Do you think the Jets should, if they are going to make trades for players or make trades for draft picks?
It's a great point, for you. Before I say that, I do want to say though, we like to say that JD has never traded back in the first, and that is true, but he has traded back in the second. So, you know what I mean? It's not beyond, and the third, and he's traded all over the place everywhere else. So, and he's traded up a bunch of times. So he's definitely not afraid to trade, and trading back. Second round is premium, it's not blue chip area, and top 10 it's different, of course, but I wouldn't say it's something that you would say is beyond what's realistic, especially if we can recoup a second round pick. And like Jeremy was saying, there's quite a few very interesting tackles. So I wouldn't be blown away, man. But yeah, you know what? I have to say there's a lot of wisdom in trading away, especially when you have a Rodgers, right? We have a 2-year window. He's saying 2 more years. If we have another year like this year, I'm going to tell you right now, he's out. I'm just going to tell you, man, if that face you saw on the sideline, oh my God, if that happens again this year, say goodbye to Aaron Rodgers. But you could say goodbye to everybody if that happens. But the idea that we have this window with Aaron Rodgers, even if you do think a guy is going to come in and have an impact right away, it's still not guaranteed with the draft picks. So if you know you can use that third or whatever it might be and just get a proven player at the position you were looking, hoping to find someone in the draft anyway, I say this is the kind of year that you do it. I actually agree with you for you. I do love my draft picks and I love young players and I really love that. But again, we are built in a very specific way. And if you can get some of these guys that we already know what they're capable of in the NFL, especially like at wide receiver or something like that with an Aaron Rodgers, I think you go ahead and you pull the trigger.
We've got DLB, One Jets Arm. Dude says, let's go. Never been to Long Island or a draft party. Boys and girls, if you missed the beginning part of this stream, we are doing our Talkin' Jets draft party, the first one ever in person at the main event, night one of the NFL draft. Tickets are available at talkinjets.com. We've already got 6 tickets sold. We got David and Patrick hooking it up. We love you guys. Thank you so much for joining the Talkin' Jets draft party. We're looking forward to it. If you guys are members of the channel, make sure you check that community tab. There is a promo code for all the channel members to get a little bit of a discount off for all the support you guys give us. So it's greatly appreciated. Green Bean, I see your finger up.
Yeah, I just want to say, just on that note, Crossfire was asking in the chat earlier if he could buy the booth, the VIP booth, which you might want to mention, and raffle off the other 3. I said, I think that's possible. Do you have any opposition to that thought, Ryan?
No, I'm fine with that. If he wants to do the VIP booth and raffle off the other 3 people that he's going to be sitting with, totally cool with that. You're also totally okay with so that the VIP booth comes with 4 tickets. I mean, you might be able to squeeze 6 people into it, but you have to pay for the other 2 tickets. So that's the thing. It comes with 4 tickets and it's comfortably sitting 4. But, it is possible you might be able to squeeze a little bit more in there. So, Crossfire, if you do want to do that, more than welcome to. Let's rip through a few of these. Shivanshu comes in, says, hope we somehow keep Huff and best players for once. It's nice to retain your own, and it hasn't really come to fruition here for the New York Jets. We wind up losing them all the time, with the exception of Quentin Williams. That's the first one we had in a while. So, who knows? Maybe it's a trend. John B. comes in and says, Mahomes has career all thought A-Rod would have had. Mahomes is having the career that we all thought Aaron Rodgers would have had. What is he at now? He's got what? He's gone to 4 Super Bowls. He's going to try and win his 3rd. He went to 6 straight AFC Championship games. Is there going to be a point, Matt, where we start talking about this cat as like competing with Tom Brady for greatest of all time? I think you can make the argument that the first 3 Super Bowls that Mahomes, or even first 4 Super Bowls that Mahomes has been to, have been on the back of the offense's play. Now, maybe this year you give a little bit of an asterisk to the defense there. But with Brady, I think the first 3 Super Bowls for him were heavily skewed towards the defensive side. What are your thoughts on the, maybe the longevity that we need to see from Mahomes or where he stacks up?
Yeah, I mean, I think if he wins this one, it starts to become a little bit more real, right? Because then that would be 3. Still a way to go because of just how long Tom Brady was around and how long he did it. Did it with 2 different franchises, played in the league for 20 years. It's still a long way to go, but there is no denying that he's had probably the best start to his career than anybody. So he's got to keep it up for a little while longer here, but it's been unbelievable so far for Mahomes.
We've got Jet Engine jumping in with a chat. Then I'll go back to Jay Sawyer and Knifey Spoony. And I see Blitzcrew's chat in there as well. Jet Engine, what's good, brother? He joined us for our Talkin' Jets group buy. So maybe he'll fly up from Florida for our live stream for the Talkin' Jets party, draft party as well. Mr. Jet Engine says, love hearing Dom dropping the reality hammer. Everyone thinks trading back is an automatic option when it all depends on how things fall. Available prospects, compensation agreement, and teams involved. Completely agree. Everyone wants to trade down. 32 teams out of 32 teams want to trade down generally. And you know what happens? Not every team wants to move up. No, not people, people don't want to give up players. They don't want to give up picks. They see these as 4-year or 5-year, potentially in the first round, cheap contracts that they hold on to. So, Green Bean, can you speak a little bit to Dom's thoughts here about trading back and how it's a little less likely because of how many people consistently want to move back?
Well, I'll tell you, I agree. It takes two to tango, but every year we see some tangoing. So there are trades every single year. Last year we saw quite a few up top, right? Starting with the move from the Panthers to jump over the Texans to make sure they didn't get the better quarterback in CJ Stroud. It's very important to them to make sure that they did not get the right guy. They didn't want any chances with this stuff. But who knows? I joke. Bryce Young's career is young, right? But yeah, I think look, I know we talk about trading all the time. But we were the team that traded up a few times, right? We traded up with the AVT, to get AVT. We jumped up, gave 2 third-round picks for that. We jumped up to get Jermaine Johnson. A lot of people forget this, but we also traded up to get Breece Hall. Everybody, people don't seem to talk about that as much. It wasn't the longest jump in the world, but we did jump up to get Breece Hall. So, I mean, there are teams looking to trade up every single year. We have a top 10 pick. This is a quarterback-rich draft. It happens to be a very strong draft as well. So if somebody wants a quarterback, I think the team trading back is going to feel pretty good that they can still get some quality too. So for the Jets, I think that it makes a bunch of sense. I think that there will at least be discussions, particularly if these quarterbacks are still there at 10. The consensus is the top 3 are going to be quarterbacks. I think that's a pretty safe bet. But there are still going to be guys. But after those 3, there's going to be a bunch of other positions taken. We got some edge rushers, potentially cornerback, but you got the wide receivers, the tackles. So I could see that 10th pick being kind of a sweet spot for somebody to want to jump back up and grab a quarterback. So I don't think it's that unrealistic to think about it. But like Dom said, JD hasn't traded back in the first yet, so there's that. And it does take a team that wants to trade up, but I think this is a pretty good year to think that there will be teams calling.
Matt, you think the Jets will be able to trade down?
I think there will be. I mean, we talked a little bit about it earlier. I think that if there's a quarterback that is still hanging around at that point, that one of those teams that are right there after the Jets want, there's a chance they could be jockeying for position, and when one wants to jump up a couple of spots. Like, I don't see the Jets dropping from like 10 to 27, but I think if they went from like 10 to the 13th pick and picked something else up, I wouldn't be super surprised by that.
J-Boy comes in and says, "We love you, Jeff Ulbrich. Got to take offensive line." Jeremy, would you agree with this? Not the offensive line, that you love Jeff Ulbrich.
I do love Jeff Ulbrich. He's an amazing coordinator. You know what? I got to say this about him so everybody knows. Every single player that we've asked about him, like today, and everyone was asked that we interviewed, all basically said they would run through a wall for him. So, I mean, this is the kind of guy he is. I know Green Bean loves that. This is the kind of guy he is. He's a passionate guy and fires people up. He's certainly a great motivator.
Ooh, Matt, hop in the line with a 20 spot. Thank you so much, Matt. He says, what do y'all think of this starting offensive line from left to right? Tyron Smith, Ezra Cleveland. That is the guard that the Jets did not trade for from the Vikings that wound up going to Jacksonville. He's a free agent right now. Obviously, Tyron Smith, left tackle for the Cowboys. Tippmann at center, AVT right guard, and then Fuaga, right tackle. Bring in another veteran tackle as insurance. AVT and Fuaga on the right would be nasty. So I think in this sort of situation, I would envision Tyron Smith and like AVT being the emergency tackle in this sort of situation. My gut feeling with the offensive line, and I want to get your guys' take on this, I think McGovern is definitely coming back. I think Rodgers does want to play with a veteran center, and we got to see some snaps that just kind of were a little awry with Tippmann last year. So I could see the Jets having a situation where Tippmann and AVT are the guards, and McGovern comes back as center, and then we are finding one offensive tackle out in free agency and then bringing one in via the draft, or AVT is that potential option as another tackle spot. I love the idea of bringing in a veteran left tackle, because if that is true, that Carter Warren is thought of very highly in the Jets organization, then maybe there's a situation where he does develop in a year, afterwards into a starting left tackle, and maybe you don't have to invest premium money into maybe a lesser guy, because, are you going to go out and either re-sign Becton or bring in a Trent Brown or a 𝐒𝐭𝐭, or, there's going to be all these different options, but none of them are really like great. They all have these little warts. So Matt, I want to ask you first, what do you think of this particular offensive line combination here?
I started a poll for the chat too, because we got a $20 super chat, so we got a freeze in here too.
That's right. Good looks, Matt. So you guys get to choose someone to freeze.
So while we're talking about this, vote in the chat. But I really am intrigued by this offensive line. Tyron Smith scares me with the injury history a little bit. Not gonna lie. I like Ezra Cleveland a ton. Tippmann love, AVT love, Fuaga love. They gotta, as Matt says here, they gotta bring in another tackle for some insurance. But I think you could do a lot of damage with this offensive line, especially in the run game. Holy smokes!
Green Bean, what about you? You think this is a offensive line you can get down with?
Yeah, I would not be terribly upset if that's what we ended up fielding. I still want to see some depth brought in. I want overkill this year, man. I think this is the year, like 2 years in a row, we saw just insane injuries to our offensive line. That would lead me, and don't forget that, AVT, the last 2 years was out for the year. We saw some injuries to Tippmann this year. I mean, he made it back, nothing serious, thankfully. But I want to see some depth. But if that's our starting line, I'm feeling pretty good about that. So yeah, I'd be good.
Jeremy, well, I guess I'll ask Dom C. We'll go down the order here. Dom C., what do you think about this offensive line? Tyron Smith, Ezra Cleveland, Tippmann, AVT, and then Fuaga at right tackle.
No, I mean, sign me up all day. This is, probably for our situation in how many holes we have on the team to kind of address, and the cap situation. This would probably be as good as it could get. I agree that, Tyron Smith's old and he's got an injury history, but if you're backing him up with Carter Warren or something like that, I'm fine with it. To me, I think Ezra Cleveland is probably overkill. I don't think he's that much of a leg up on what we have in Laken Tomlinson. I know Laken has had his moments where he hasn't played good, but I think the name Ezra Cleveland is probably better than the football player Ezra Cleveland.
Jeremy, how are you feeling about this particular offensive line combination?
I feel good about it. I would take that. I'd feel really good about it. I'm one that I'm not just satisfied with 5. Like, I want to know who our backups are going to be. Like, I still want McGovern for depth. I would still consider in the middle rounds a really good interior guy. So we have the option of just moving things around or if somebody gets hurt. But no, I like it. I like it a lot. I would take that. That would be a great front 5.
So, boys and girls, because Matt sent in a $20 super chat, we got to see someone get frozen. You guys had the live chat in the poll in the live chat. This is what happens. Like, my pilot hat's on too tight. And one Jeremy was our victory in the poll question. So Jeremy gets frozen here. Jeremy, any last words?
Why?
Don't care. Mute yourself. Loser. No. Sorry. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Jeremy is going to be muted for a minute. I don't have a timer going or anything. Do I have a timer? Boom. 3 minutes. There you go, Jeremy.
3 minutes? Oh, my God.
3 minutes. I only have a 3-minute timer set right now. I got to move it, too. I'll shift it down here. Boom. Jeremy can cool off a little bit. We got Sawyer coming in with Super Chat. Says, Carter can't coach a tackle to be good day one or seemingly ever. Go get Garrett and Rodgers some weapons. Ooh, this is a good thought process. Green Bean, I want to hear from you. the offensive line coach, Keith Carter, is not looked at super favorably by Jet fans, or I guess his own players for that matter. Do you think that he will be able to coach up an offensive tackle, or do you think the talent level of a tackle taken at 10 might exceed what Carter would have to actually put into this particular equation?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a concern. I saw there was a comment from Paris about in the chat about drafting a guy like Fuaga, who we know needs the passing game aspect needs to be worked on, right? So do we trust Keith Carter to mold a pick like that we already know needs a little bit of work on one aspect of his game? Hey, man, he's the guy we got, everybody. You know what I mean? Yeah, it shouldn't preclude us, from taking, one of the guys. I mean, you can't, you can't keep a coach and then go, oh, this coach sucks, so I can't take the player. You can't. Then you got to get rid of the coach, right? Like, and they chose not to, so they believe in him. They're going to take who they want. And they're gonna trust him to do it. Now, am I concerned about it? Yeah, man. I mean, I thought our offensive line looked lost. I thought our, we saw guys, like a Becton look not so good. Now, who knows if that's Keith Carter? I mean, who knows? Tippmann looked pretty damn good under Keith Carter at two positions. So I don't know. Maybe I think, like you said, Ryan, maybe the player's talent will supersede whatever limitations Keith Carter has. I don't know. It's definitely concerning. I would have liked to see him go. I really would have loved to see us run and grab, Callahan's understudy over there. But Callahan got a head coaching job, so, that wasn't going to happen. But I'd love to see something like that. But here we are, man. Keith Carter's our guy. We got to trust him.
So we haven't talked about this at all. Knifey Spoony says, hearing that some teams are interested in Zach Wilson for a late round pick, any chance we could do a pick swap, maybe land another mid-rounder instead? So if you guys didn't see this was from U Stadium earlier yesterday, I think maybe, talking about how there are multiple teams interested in Zach Wilson or expected to be interested in Zach Wilson. So maybe that's a situation where the Jets can, wheel and deal a little bit. Maybe we can give up a fourth round pick or a sixth round pick or something like that, package it together with Zach, and then maybe get a third round pick. And now you're feeling a little bit more comfortable using him to maybe trade up or get a player later or earlier in the draft than you were anticipating. It's seemingly, it doesn't seem like Zach's going to be here at all. Like, there's no shot whatsoever. Matt, your thoughts on the Zach Wilson trade rumors stuff?
I like the rumors because I'm interested in the mid-round pick swap portion of that report, because that would be interesting. Like, if they could trade Zach Wilson and a fourth for a third, like, they have 2 fourths. So wouldn't you rather jump up an additional round into, getting another top 100 pick? Right now they only have 2 top 100 picks. So to me, that's more appealing than just, landing a late 5th, 6th round pick straight up. So if that's really on the table, I think that's the route that I would like to go.
So I'm going to, rather than asking Green Bean if he would want to do this, I'm going to ask you to give me a team that you think you could see Zach going to.
I think, Zach's not going to go somewhere as somebody looking for a starter, right? He's going to go somewhere for depth. I could see the Chiefs, and I could see, like, hypothetically, if Zach went to the Chiefs, I think that would be a fantastic scenario for a guy like Zach Wilson. Andy Reid is obviously Andy Reid and does good things with quarterback. He's a true offensive mastermind type of a guy. Understudy to Mahomes kind of a thing. I think that would be good for Zach. But let me just say, though, I like the idea. Like Matt said, a fourth. I would prefer to see a fifth and Zach Wilson for a third, but maybe I'm
yeah, I want to give up a seventh and Zach Wilson for a second, but I don't know if that's happening.
Yeah, totally. But I'm trying to stay realistic, But I don't know, man. I think I don't know. I think a lot of teams can do it. Yeah, but on that note, aren't we happy to see Sam Darnold? I want to just tell you guys real quick. everything is designed to hurt us the most. I want you guys to know that. So just be prepared that Sam Darnold's going to end up playing in this Super Bowl, and if he does, expect the Niners to win.
I want him to play. I have not rooted for an injury more to Brock Purdy or any player in the face of the NFL than I am rooting one for Brock Purdy right now. I want Sammy Boy to play in the Super Bowl. Dude, I love me some Sam Darnold. Did you see the bet NYJ Matt put on the Super Bowl? He said $25 Sam Darnold wins MVP. DraftKings went out and actually added it to the sports book. You were actually able to vote or place a bet on Sam Darnold to be the MVP of the Super Bowl. I think it's going to happen. Jeremy, talk to me. You think Sammy Darnold coming in at some point in the Super Bowl? Would you be upset?
No, I would root for him. I would root really hard if he came into that game, and I would want him to win the game for them, and I'd be really happy for him.
You guys are terrible Jets fans.
49ers chaos in the chat over here.
That's right. 49ers
Jeremy
chaos.
is a California guy, by the way. Matt, I want to hear your thoughts. You rooting for Sammy Boy if he comes in?
No, I don't want. No, that's too much pain. I can't see the guy that the Jets drafted 3rd overall and then traded away, come in this bizarre scenario for this, has a perfect roster, and the quarterback that got him there gets hurt in the game and he has to come in and he would win. That might be the end of Matt O'Leary on Jets internet. I don't know if I could handle that reaction from Jet fans for if that would happen. So please no.
Dom C, Sammy Boy, you rooting for him if he comes in?
No. Sam
Jeremy and I are having fun with this.
Sam Darnold is such a distant memory. Like, he's just, to me, doesn't really matter.
Wolverine sitting on the bed looking at the picture. We have Zach Wilson, and I'm looking at Sam Darnold on the picture. I'm just saying, man, wish we had that.
I think that wound is a little more fresh. So if Zach won or, had success and won a Super Bowl with another team, I think that would chat my ass a little.
Dude, you know what I see happening? I'm looking at Green Bean's scenario, talking about Andy Reid developing Zach Wilson. He's obviously not going to be the starter in Kansas City, so Patrick Mahomes is going to be there, which means he's going to get traded somewhere else. I would hope that he would trade him out of conference, but maybe there's some situation where Zach just wants to spite the Jets because of how we have just treated him, or how he is perceived that we have treated him, and the fan base has treated him, and he's just going to go scorched earth on us if he can figure it all out. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be brutal either way.
Yeah. I'd love to see Zach try to go scorched earth and try to take the game in his own hands and win it himself. Wouldn't that be great?
Step out of bounds on the 3-yard line.
Fucking moron.
Bean's hot.
This crew comes in, says he wants a proven talent like T. Higgins, not proven like Lazard. The best thing I can say about Lazard is he shouldn't be as bad as he was last year, purely because Aaron Rodgers is coming back, which is like a slight tick up. But man, am I having some buyer's remorse with that $11 million a year contract with Lazard. That's what's that contract I think is going to prevent us from going after 2 wide receivers in free agency because it's so elevated right now. Matt, your thoughts on T. Higgins versus Lazard and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I was pretty wrong about Alan Lazard so far. I like that signing for the Jets, and it has not worked very well. I agree with you. I think he'll be better this year, but T. Higgins, man, 25 years old, has done the damn thing already in his career, is already a number 2 with a high-end receiver, so it's not going to be like this guy who's going to be all selfish and begging for the rock. I think it'd be a great pairing with Garrett Wilson. I really do.
Joe M comes in the super chat, says, if everything stays as it is with the draft, how do you think it goes? 1, 3, 4. I'm leaning tackle, any offensive lineman and quarterback. So he's saying in the rounds 1, 3, 4. So in my mind, it's tough without knowing who's actually available. But I would like to go tackle at number 10. I would like to go wide receiver in the 3rd. And then in the 4th, I would like to have some combination of guard quarterback would be my preference there. Green Bean, your thoughts on those 3 rounds?
Yeah, I'm totally with it. But here's the thing. We got to go get some real wide receiver help in free agency for me to be okay with that. Now, because you're looking at the fourth round quarterback thing is interesting because there's the potential for the guy from Florida State, Travis,
Jordan Travis.
right? Yeah.
Travis.
So that, because of his injury, that he may be there in the fourth. Now, if you can get a guy like that in the fourth round to kind of have that year or two behind Aaron Rodgers, the old Green Bay trick, I think you got to consider it, man. But if we drop the ball in free agency at wide receiver, like you gotta use that third on a wide receiver. This is assuming we don't have a second, right? So
that is what I said, by the way, just so you know.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you caught, if you thought I said fourth. But no, I'm on board with the third.
1, 3. Wait, what did you say there? You confused me. What happened?
So sorry. He was asking, what would we do first round, third round, fourth round? We have 2 fourth-round picks. I said I would go offensive tackle first round, wide receiver third round. Then I would go guard, quarterback, some sort of combo like that in the fourth.
I see. Yeah, okay, and that makes sense to me. That does because and let's not forget, to your point, Ryan. Fourth round offensive linemen are fantastic. That's a sweet spot. That third to fifth round for offensive linemen is historically a real nice place to get offensive linemen. So I think, using that third, like in this scenario, right, with the 2 fourths, which I wasn't even thinking about the second fourth in my answer. So if you do that, and again, even if we get one wide receiver, but you don't completely do all the work that you want to do at the position. Third round, I don't know if McConkey will be there. You can see on Don C's list, Lad McConkey raised his stock a little bit at the Senior Bowl. I'm just telling you, watch my boy. You'll see. But I would love it if Lad McConkey's sitting there in the third and you scoop him up. So yeah, I think that would be good. But yeah, I think Joe M's on to something here.
Matt, I want to ask you, position-wise, we'll go quick. First round, third round, 2 fourth-round picks. What positions are you ideally penciling in your head?
Yeah, I'll go something similar to you, and in no particular order, but we'll go offensive tackle, quarterback, wide receiver, and guard.
Dom C, I want to ask you the same thing. What would your picks be?
Well, my picks would be what you guys said. My picks, I think the Jets are going to think differently. I'm going to be the
okay. So what do you? Let's twist the question a little bit. What do you think the Jets will think?
I mean, without getting darts thrown at me from the chat, I think you're going to see the premium positions with premium draft capital. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a defensive lineman, an edge rusher along those lines, not in the first round, but in the third or the fourth. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a cornerback. Two of our deeper groups, but two groups that are thinning out very quickly. I mean, I really think that we're going to see a cornerback drafted relatively earlier than anyone wants in this draft. We don't know what Bryce Hall's coming back. He's a unrestricted free agent, right? Michael Carter's walking into his contract year. Obviously, we want to keep him. DJ Reed is in the last year of his contract. Obviously, we want to extend him. Brandon Echols is in the last year of his contract. We're not going into next, and we don't know what JBC is, Jarek Bernard-Converse. If he's a safety, if he's a cornerback, we don't know. So I think that if history kind of repeats Joe Douglas, he's going to spend premium picks on what he classifies as premium positions. That would include cornerback or another edge rusher or something like that. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if 3 or 4 is one of those kind of positions.
Ooh, Jeremy, real quick, rounds 1, 3, 4, 4. What positions you ideally looking for?
For me, it would be offensive tackle, wide receiver in the third round, interior offensive line in the fourth round, and then defensive tackle with the other fourth round.
Ooh, I like it. A little different there. Jet Engine says the danger zone in this draft is at pick 8 and 9. Jets desperately need an offensive tackle. I could see teams jumping up for Olu or even Fuaga in front of them again. So Jet Engine, one thing that I can definitely say I'm concerned about is the Bears at number 9, because their offensive line coach is the national team's offensive line coach for the Senior Bowl. So he's getting hands-on Fuaga, where Ulbrich is overseeing the entire team. So he's going to have an even more inside track on him at number 9. Dom C, I see your finger up.
One thing to that, though, because I was talking about that with another guy while we were just shooting the shit down here today at the stadium. Now, they drafted Darnell Wright last year, who's a right tackle. Darnell Wright is a right tackle. Fuaga right now is a right tackle. I don't think we have to worry about them taking Fuaga. If Olu is on the board, maybe you can take him and move Broderick Jones, kick Broderick Jones inside. That would make sense. But Broderick Jones is still on a cheap contract also, and he's, listen, he's not top 10 in the league, but he's also.
You mean
not
Darnell Wright?
No,
Broderick Jones is on the Steelers.
Darnell Wright is good.
Well, Broderick Jones is on the Steelers.
Yeah, Broderick Jones is a Steeler.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of the left tackle's name in Chicago. It skipped my mind. I said Broderick Jones.
Yeah.
It's not Broderick.
It's all right.
Anyhow, I don't think we have to worry about Fuaga going to the Bears. I would be possibly concerned about Olu-Fashanu. But I don't know. I think, right now the gap between Fashanu and Fuaga is closing. So, that might not be a bad thing.
Jet Engine follows it up with, I'm a pessimist at this point. So, Matt, I want to ask you, do you think that there is the fear that the Jets are going to look desperate for an offensive tackle at number 10 and we could see something similar to what happened last year?
Oh, that would be real shitty if that happened. But I think there's going to be like those teams that are in front of the Jets, because it's Chicago at 9 and who's 8 right now? I forget.
Atlanta, I think.
Atlanta. Okay. So I don't know if they're going to want to necessarily move back. Like Chicago has 1 billion picks, I feel like. Are they going to want to trade back into recoup, or are they going to want to stay there and take, a Rome Odunze or, someone who could immediately impact, probably Caleb Williams or Drake May. I think for me, I'm not super worried about it. The team that I think is taking a tackle is Tennessee. I don't know who else in front of the Jets are. The Chargers could, I guess, theoretically, right, to pair with Slater. Arizona, I don't think does it after taking, Paris Johnson pretty high last year.
So DJ Humphries did tear his ACL week 17. So they don't have a tackle for next year right now.
Okay. I think it's good.
He could be cut if he wasn't like injured right now. Like I think he's probably cut next year, realistically.
Yeah, that would stink. But I think they're going to go with Marvin Harrison at 4.
Ooh, lots of decisions we got to go through. Matt comes in with another super chat. Says, anyone else pissed off at the idea of us trading DJ Reed? Jets cornerback trio is the best in the league. No one comes close. Don't break up the trio. Yeah, look, I don't want to see him broken up. I would like to see him retained and then us just lock down our secondary for the next, 3-4 years, whatever it is, before Sauce, has to get paid. Like if you can align DJ Reed's contract to match up for when Sauce's contract is going to have to get escalated, that is ideal for me. Now, if someone comes over and says, hey, we're going to give you a first round pick, like a late first for DJ Reed, I'm probably going to do it just because of what we saw from the Jets defense against Philadelphia, where you saw no Sauce, no Reed, and that Jets defense locked down those wide receivers. So Eccles and Hall were our starters at that point. I think I'd be willing to roll the dice on a first round pick, but I think anything below that, I'd much rather have Reed at this particular point in time. Greenbean, I'll throw that one to you. Any thought of moving DJ Reed? And if so, what would it take?
Oh God, I just want to say I agree. I'm not pissed at it because it's just speculative, right? But I echo the sentiment that Matt is making. I think it's just like, for God's sakes, can we just not have to destroy something good for to fix something else? Like, can we stop robbing Peter to pay Paul? Please, can we just figure out a way to keep the good stuff we have and bring in something else to fix the other thing? Like, the Jets have not figured that out in forever, man. We always, even going back to the Abraham Mangold thing, It's like who did we end up getting when Parcells traded Hugh Douglas? Got a second. I forget who we got with that second. I believe it was somebody we like. But anyway, it's like, but we always do that stuff. We have to like get rid of a good player in order to get somebody else. I think at all costs, I mean, not all costs, but in realistic costs, you keep that trio together as long as you can. They're the best in the NFL. I mean, you could argue that there maybe are better tandems, but as a trio, I don't think there's really too much argument going on. And I think you keep the band together. Now, if they're thinking, like, hypothetically, I'm not saying that I think this, but hypothetically, if they're thinking, "Hey, man, Bryce Hall played really good in the Eagles game and the games that we had him in there, he's been here, he's been in the system for 3 years, and he's poised to get that kind of starting position, and they can get a sweet deal for Reed. Maybe they consider that. What would it take for me to trade Reed? I mean, I think he's among the more underrated cornerbacks in the NFL, but like a top cornerback gets a first, man. That's what they get. So if somebody's going to give me a first round pick for DJ Reed, I might consider it if I can keep the Eccles and Hall part of the group together. But I still wouldn't want to do it. But that would be what it would take for me. It would take a first and not a bottom of the round first.
Blitzkrieg comes in and says, you think Mac Jones is angling to come to the New York Jets? Weird Mac Jets comments today. Groom behind Aaron? No, I do not want Mac Jones. Macaroni and cheese is a fucking bag of milk. I don't think he's good. I think he's a shit person. I don't want him here at all. I'm not even going to throw it around to the rest of the panel because I think it's a bad decision, Blitzkrieg. And you know what I say to that? I say, get the fuck out of here, Blitzkrieg.
That's right.
You're rejected. I hate that idea. E-Boogie comes in and says, trade away all future top picks to get everything we need for this year. 20-0, baby. Question 2, which player or players team will want more than Huff or AVT? Which player or player's team will want more than Huff or AVT? I don't know if I'm completely understanding what you're saying here, but I will say this. I'm cool with trading away up to the second round pick next year to go up and get either a proven player or escalate this into a first round pick or something like that for this year. I would say I'd keep the 2025 first off the table just because it has the catastrophic potential of like being a top 10 pick if everything goes sideways. I would not trade the 2025 pick. And then as far as which player or players team will want more, I'm not sure how to read that. Matt, your thoughts on this?
You throw me under the bus because I'm trying to read E-Boogie's comments and I'm not sure that I get it.
I got it. I know what he means.
All right, it's going to you, Green Bean.
He's saying which player or players will teams want more than Huff, or will teams want more, Huff or AVT? So what I think he's saying is what player has more value if we were going to trade somebody. So,
interesting.
I think AVT, even with the injuries, I don't know, man. Look, I was looking at it before. People are talking about Huff's value in the chat earlier. And, the idea that like $19 to $21 million doesn't make sense for Bryce Huff. When you look at the guys in that range, they're like, there are guys, like that, they make the $17.5 million. There's like the $20 million range. And then hold on, I can look right here. Like Alex Highsmith, hold on. I think he was 17.5. When you look at the stats and stuff, like Alex Highsmith, just as one example, he had 7 sacks last year. He played 88% or 81% of their snaps. Bryce Huff had 10 sacks and he played 49% of the snaps. The whole thing is that, the Jets are looking at Bryce Huff. They don't see him as an every down player. I would be willing to bet there are teams that are absolutely willing to let him try to be an every down player. So you look at the impact he can have with less than 50% of the snaps, and there are guys in that price range that are playing almost twice as much, and they're having similar numbers. Of course, there are peaks and valleys, whether tackles, forced fumbles, things like that. But Bryce Huff, I think, is totally able to be considered in that category for that type of money. So I don't see it as crazy like a lot of other people do. We've just seen him in this role. I think teams are willing to give a guy like him more of an opportunity. So I don't know, with AVT's injuries and Bryce Huff being a premier edge rusher, I think I'm going to reverse my original thought and say that Bryce Huff might have more value currently.
I would agree with you as well. I think Huff provides more value right now. I think AVT with the 2 season-ending injuries, especially one being the Achilles, I think that's going to hurt his trade value. We're going to skip the line here for Ablab. Thank you so much for the 20 spot back. Can you please put a poll question in the chat? Gang, Ryan, you said the word retain. I feel like historically we've never kept our own guys, which is why we've been in the pooper. Don't you think we should keep and draft our talent like other contenders? So when I look at good teams from around the league, I'm saying, look, they're drafting the right guys, they're retaining the right guys, and when they have when they're totally overloaded at positions, they allow those guys to walk or they trade them for assets at that point. But when you have the money, I think it makes more sense to retain your own free agents than it is to go out and overpay for a Tremaine Johnson, for a Le'Veon Bell, for heck, CJ Mosley. Unfortunately, I have to say that one in there as well. But I don't think you should overpay for outside players. I would retain the players that you have internally, that you have built. Jeremy, what are you mouthing off over there? You upset with me because I said CJ Mosley?
No,
I'm upset with Matt because he's done another poll.
Boom. Sorry, loser. I'm freezing you before we even get the poll questions back. No, I'm kidding. You can come back here. Matt, your thoughts. You think we should retain our own?
Yes, that's what I've been yelling about with Bryce Huff. They, specifically with him, they were searching for an edge rusher forever. They find one as an undrafted free agent. They develop him into a 10-sack guy, one of the most proficient rushers in the game. And it's like, well, now you can't possibly pay him because you have a couple other guys who are also good at that position. No. Other teams do it, man. Other teams develop guys, they pay them, and they don't let them walk and be good somewhere else. I'm very, very nervous that the Jets are going to let Huff hit the market, and he's going to be a 15-sack guy somewhere next year.
All right, so I'm going to end the poll right now just because we're at that 10 o'clock mark, so I want to rip through the rest of this, but I do want to say, Jeremy, suck it, you're frozen again.
Oh, no.
Oh, I enjoy freezing Jeremy. It's great. All right, let's rip through some stuff here. Jet Engine says, Corey Davis flaking out 10 minutes before the season was a huge problem. Lazard was signed to be a number 3 big slot, and the Jets dumped Sam for a small, fragile Sam. Dumped Sam for a small, fragile Sam. I totally...
assuming that's Zach.
Oh, saying Zach is fragile Sam? Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they did not hit number 2 overall on the quarterback. It missed, unfortunately.
Yeah, we got to stop taking quarterbacks in the top 5. It's just not working out for us.
Right.
Douglas comes in and says, doing off-season and draft predictions with this team is like trying to predict how they F things up this year. I'm sure there's another defensive lineman. Well, we were talking about that a little bit earlier, and we think it could be possible in the mid-rounds, but we think the top end of the draft, hopefully. Dom C saying maybe in the 3rd round we might see something in there. I don't particularly want to do that. I would like to reserve the 1st and 3rd rounds for offensive weapons, whether that be a lineman or a wide receiver. I am considering an offensive lineman a weapon. I don't care what you guys say. E-Boogie says, trade AVT. So he was talking about, the AVT stuff and Huff earlier. Trade AVT and the pick swap with Arizona for the number 4 pick and get pick 27 too. Imagine if this happens. Let's go, boys. I think it's going to cost so much to get up to number 4 because you have to convince Arizona not to take Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, and then if there's a situation where Marvin Harrison Jr., let's say, goes 3 to the Patriots and a quarterback is sitting there at number 4, then we're not going to be able to get enough assets to make that trade up to number 4. So I don't think that would even happen, let alone getting a number 27 pick. But yes, I'm on board with it if you can get it to happen. Matt, I'm going to ask you to go to last week's Talkin' Jets stream while we're going through
10 o'clock?
I know. We blitzed through this already. It went fast tonight.
Wow,
Rich
it did.
Samini's Crusty Tissue. has Green Bean as the thumbnail there. I love it. He says, Cowherd said on his show today that he would bet that the Jets don't make the playoffs next year. Hope this draft and the offseason prove that D-bag wrong. Well, he's a Patriots fan, and, I don't think he has any sort of objective reality here because the Jets will win the Super Bowl. He's just wrong. Gator McCluskey comes in. What's up, Gator? He says, let's listen to hours of Jets shows every day for the next 3 months to discuss a single pick in the draft. Dedication, mother fathers. Yes, we are more dedicated than any other fan base. That's why we have the best live chats compared to any other fan base. We have the, when you look at the content creators from across the rest of the league, I don't think there's a concentrated group of Jet fans or of content creators better than what the Jets fan content creator sphere is. I think we've got a great little Jet universe here.
Indeed.
That we're building out.
Hey, Ryan, how long has Jeremy been frozen?
Probably not long enough. He's eating marshmallow
He's got
something.
That's the banana ones, the banana moon pies. Well, those aren't moon pies either. They're bullshit. They're fake.
They're knockoffs.
They're fake.
Little Debbie. They're good?
No, they're the fake cheap ones for sure. Little Debbie, that's not the real stuff.
Far, fatty.
Hennessy comes in. Hennessy says, how many defensive players get picked before number 10? I'm going to say 1. I think only 1 goes, and I think it's going to be Atlanta that takes them. Matt, you thinking the same thing?
You read my mind. Dallas Turner to Atlanta.
Ooh. And then Jet Engine comes in asking, is 𝐒𝐫𝐞𝐞𝐫𝐢 Allison? Allison, we love you. It'd be great if 𝐒𝐫𝐞𝐞𝐫𝐢 was Allison, too. It'd be wonderful. So before we get to our little spinny wheel and everything, I want to thank Jeremy and Dom C for coming in from the Senior Bowl, staying up with us, giving us the inside track. Make sure you follow them on Twitter. Dom, I'll let you plug yourself first, then I'll let Jeremy plug yourself, and then we're going to eject your asses.
Hey, well, thanks, guys. Catch me all over the place, right? Mondays with Ryan on our new show, which is starting this Monday. Follow that up at 10 o'clock with Green Bean doing the 10 o'clock mock. I do have my own channel, Project Prospect with Dom C, on YouTube. Just tons of draft content, mock drafts, not necessarily Jets related, but if you just, got that nerdy itch that you want to scratch once in a while and talk about the third string defensive tackle from Tennessee Chattanooga, like hit me up in the DMs. I'm always game for it.
Speaking of that nerdy itch, I want to scratch. Jeremy, any last words for the chat?
Yeah, hey, subscribe to Jets Chaos. You get lots of funny videos and fun, informative videos, too. And, of course, we're 9 days away from the premiere of Reality Check. Me and my ginger friend, Matt O'Leary, are going to be giving reality checks all day long.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Boys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. You guys have been ejected from our little cockpit here. All right. We are at the end of our show. We get to talk a little bit of baggage claim. Someone's winning a shirt, hat, pillow, mug. Actually, I don't even have hat on there. We should add a hat onto this thing.
We should.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely need to. That was a flub up on my part. I didn't even think to do that. Green Bean, how many contestants do we have?
You know what, though? We should also, you might want to put that the Rogers Wilson 24 shirt on there, too. Like, as far as that thing is sharp as hell, bro.
That one is fire. If you guys haven't checked out, we have a Rogers Wilson 2024 shirt, Make the Jets Great Again, over on the website, talkinjets.com. So if you guys want to check it out, I need to add it to this little slide here, but it is so much fun. It is such a good shirt. If you guys do win the shirt, you can choose that shirt. I just got to add it to this actual slide. I should have done that. That was a bad move, Ryan. All right.
Yeah, so 32 is the number.
32 is the number. And while I'm sitting down here, I'm going to ask Matt to give us, you got 5 timestamps over there?
Yeah, we could give you 5. We'll give you 5. Green Bean, let me know when you're ready, sir.
I'm ready.
All right, Addison Martinez is number 1.
Okay.
Charlotte Jets fan, number 2.
I wonder who Charlotte Jets fan number 1 is. That's interesting.
Ooh.
Kel Joseph is number 3.
Kel, K-E-L-L?
K-1-L, but yeah. K-E-L.
Yeah, got it.
We'll go Kyle Donkersloot. Great name.
Oh yeah, Donkersloot's back. Nice.
That is a wild name.
And then
Imagine being like Mrs. Donkersloot.
Oh yeah. That's the best, man.
It's a great
name. We'll go Gangrene 4494 as the last one.
Ooh. Okay.
All right. So that brings us to 37, Ryan.
37. All right. 37. Random number generator. We've got number 24. Who's lucky number 24?
That is Blitz Crew.
Ooh. Blitz Crew. Get another item off the spin wheel. This dude's I think he's got 2 pillows. I think he probably has the shirt and the mug already. Let's see what we can get Blitz Crew.
All right. Let's go jersey for Blitz Crew. Here it comes. Oh, it's coming.
Oh, he gets a shirt.
All right. There you go. Nice.
So Blitz Crew, if you want to get that Rogers Wilson 2024 shirt, he says he wants a hat. I do have a shirt and 2 pillows. Okay. So let us figure out how we can make a good hat, because I don't think I have a hat on the website yet, but we'll get a hat made up and we'll get that sent out your way. So we'll get you a hat in lieu of a shirt, unless you want the shirt. And he has a mug. I know you got a lot of stuff.
A mug.
He's got all of it.
Well, dude, hey, man, he buys, he's one of the guys buying people memberships. He's a giver. So why shouldn't he receive, right?
He absolutely deserves it. All you guys, it's greatly appreciated in there. So Blitz Crew, reach out to us. I want to make sure I always confirm shipping again. But we'll work up a little hat here and figure out something to send out your direction. But that has reached the end of our show. So let's go around our panel, give our closing thoughts. Green Bean, any last words for our panel?
Yeah, I'm excited about our shows, guys. I hope that you will hang with all of us, but I will remind you, we have the Thursday Thick of It this week. That'll be on the tail end of the Senior Bowl stuff. We'll have Dom C with us this Thursday night for some more Senior Bowl chatting and prospect chatting. But the Monday 10 o'clock mock begins this coming Monday. That is right. It's February 5th. So I couldn't be more excited. It's a good time to be a Jets fan. This is when we forget the pain and start believing again. So I'm happy we landed here again. This is my warm blanket part of the year.
Matt, any last words for our panel?
I am so excited for everything we have going on. Truly, we got 3 new shows starting next week. Me and Egghead, I can't wait. We got the Talkin Jets draft party. So many good things happening over on Talkin Jets. So make sure to subscribe. Get your tickets now for this great event. Let's have some fun.
All right, boys and girls, you guys have seen the little compilation we have here. First and foremost, Matt alluded to it, the Talkin Jets draft party. Get your tickets, talkinjets.com, while they last. We got some great options. Going to be a 3-hour open bar. Going to have a lot of fun. You're going to see our reactions live in person. We're going to have a crowd cam. Oh, I'm so excited for this. Really amped up. And then starting this Monday, we've got Talkin Jets draft, myself and Dom, 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. You got Wednesday at 8 p.m., Armchair GM with 𝐒𝐿 and Green Bean. And then you have the reality check Thursdays at 3 p.m., O'Leary and Jets Chaos. Going to be a lot of fun going through all this. Boys and girls, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Make sure to tip your bartenders on the way out. This is Jets Talk signing off. JETS.
Just go somewhere else. I can't take this nonsense anymore. How are you going to blame the defense?
I got the power. Screw Green Bean. Damn it. But once you get to the sausage, I feel like we're doing something.
Go Jets.
And that's the other part of this, is people are insanely jealous of this show. This show gets the best of the best, and it does a different way, with positivity.
He scores!
Ow, my head! No, come on.
What would you give up to see a Jets Super Bowl?
All of my friends and family.
Hit those milk thumbs, boys and girls.
Freeze frame.
Hold on to your underwear, ladies, and stand by, bitches. It's now time for Talkin' Jets with your hosts, Matt, Ryan, and Green Bean.
Jets!